What is up, Impact Nation? I am Jason, and this is another episode of the Anthem of Impact Wrestling show. Yesterday, there was a video posted over at the King of the Mountain podcast channel by BQ with a question of who do you want as the next, or the guy to take the title off of Alberto El Patron, with the kind of stuff that's up in the air with the suspension and everything else. So I hit up BQ yesterday on Twitter because I wanted to do this video, and because I thought it'd be kind of a good idea to start kind of making all the Global Force Wrestling, Impact Wrestling reviewers and YouTubers maybe kind of start interacting like this on YouTube, and kind of get all of our different viewers and everything else kind of all intermingling and make a really good community out of this. And so I asked him his permission if I could do a video off of his, and he said yes. So I am here today to tell you who I want as that next champion, and I'm going to fantasy book how I think that show should go down. So I'm not going to reveal who I want until the end. But first, if you like my videos, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, the notification button, leave comments down. I want to know what you guys think about what I am about to lay out here. Tell me who you would like to take that title away from El Patron. And of course, go check out BQ's video on his King of the Mountain podcast channel on YouTube as well. Excuse me. Also, hit me up on Twitter at Anthem of Impact. I always enjoy talking to people on Twitter as well, having good wrestling conversations. But let's get to it. So we know that there's a live show on August 17th called Destination X. And I don't know, and I don't really care what the scenario would be if, they just kind of get rid of Patron, if they just force him to put the title up, or if they strip him of the title and vacate it and then have a match there. Doesn't matter to me how it ends up happening. Any of those scenarios playing just fine to my little fantasy booking here. So I'm going to go with, just for the sense of this booking, I'm going to go with, they open up the show on Destination X announcing the vacated title. And it's Jeff Jarrett in the middle of the ring. And he's got a bag that has the title, the brand new title in it. And he says, we have stripped Patron of the title, and but tonight we will have the first ever, and he reveals the title, Global Force World Heavyweight Champion. And then he says, and it will be fought on live TV tonight. And down comes the little hook, and he puts the title on it, starts raising, and he goes, and a King of the Mountain match. So then he goes on and says, and the 5 competitors will be, and he starts naming them off. We get Moose, Eli Drake, EC3, trying to think here, Eddie Edwards, and out comes, with Dutch Mantell, Jack Swagger. Now, I don't know what he would actually be able to go as, what name, I don't know what name he's been going on in the Indies, I don't know what name he'd be able to go as, but Jack Swagger, right? Dutch Mantell introduces the newest member to Global Force Wrestling, the Jack Swagger, of whatever he ends up going by. So, throughout the night, you can tell that Jeff had somebody else in mind. And he has actually confronted Dutch about it. and they have little different segments back and forth, of just kind of hints that there's some tension there between what Dutch announcing Jack Swagger and who Jeff had in mind as that fifth guy. So we get to the main event, right? And we get to the King of the Mountain match. It's a good typical King of the Mountain match. Very hard hitting, fast. It's got ups and downs. Good match. Now everybody is now eligible to hang the title up. Everybody's eligible. Jack Swagger now has just kind of gone on a tear, and it's come down between him and Eli Drake. They're the only two that are kind of up and about. They're fighting over that belt. They're fighting over it. All of a sudden, they're tugging on it. All of a sudden, the lights go out. Lights come back on. There's not Eli Drake on the other side of that belt anymore. Eli Drake's down on the ground. Now holding onto that belt is James Storm. And he looks at Jack Swagger and says, "Sorry about your damn luck." And from out of nowhere, Bram and Eddie Kingston show up out of nowhere, attack Swagger, start attacking everybody else. James Storm takes it up to the top, hangs that title up, and he becomes the first GFW World Heavyweight Champion. And you think it's done, but it's not. Because, of course, Dutch comes out, Bruce comes out. They're saying, no, this isn't right. You're not, you were never part of the match. But then, of course, James Storm just points out to the TV screen, the Titantron, whatever you want to call it, the entrance screen, and it's Jeff Jarrett and Scott D'Amore. And they just sit there and say, nope, he is our heavyweight champion. So that's how I would do it. I think James Storm definitely deserves to have the title. It adds intrigue. It's the return of the DCC. This does play. I'm not gonna sit here and say this is. This is definitely obviously very influenced by the James Storm story that he gave on the radio about what he originally thought of the DCC. I just think this would be a really good way to get it through. Whether you involve the DCC or not, I don't care. But it definitely needs to be like a surprise thing where nobody's expecting it to be James Storm. He comes out of nowhere and he gets it on there. And then he can kind of be not necessarily a heel James Storm, but just kind of the beer drinking cowboy badass that he can be. And that he just kind of the no nonsense kind of cowboy. How about that? So he's not really a heel, but he's not just like this straight up baby face that's pandering to everybody and being kind of overly nice about everything, right? But yeah, I just think it should be James. I wanted it to be Storm a while back whenever he was kind of in those number one contendership matches and facing Bobby Lashley. I don't know. He just definitely deserves one more run. And if he does end up kind of leaving GFW at some point, I think him as champion going into Bound for Glory, and then giving that title to an EC3 or giving that title to an Eli Drake, to a Moose, at the end of a Bound for Glory, kind of officially handing over the guard, I think could be huge. Could make also Bound for Glory really good. Also, would just give a really good storyline of the old guard versus new guard type thing if you put them in any of those type of storylines. So anyway, that is my fantasy booking. That is who I want as the next champion. if any of this stuff goes down. Like I said, leave comments and hit me up on Twitter. Let me know. To the other YouTubers, Andre Corbeil, Heelcast, trying to think of who else is all out there that does all this stuff. Oh man. Anyway, if you do YouTube, if you don't do YouTube, but you want to make a video, do a video and give us your fantasy booking. I think it'd be really cool to start doing this type of thing and interacting like this on YouTube. Anyway, like I said, yeah, hit subscribe, leave comments, let me know what you guys think about my fantasy booking and give me your fantasy bookings. I'd really like to hear them. So, some exciting times hopefully are on the way for Global Force Wrestling. Peace.